And we're live.
All right. Well, get it, Keith. Sitting in the weight room, just waiting for us to get here with Teague's Take. We do appreciate you for being here bright and early. Man, we got a action-packed Teague's Take tonight. We got to dissect this running game. I don't know if that's even the right word that we're gonna got to put with it, but happy that you guys are here. For those of y'all that are watching the replay, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit those like buttons, share the podcast with everyone. We do appreciate you for being here. Welcome to all the Bama Standard folks as well. We appreciate the support and being able to work hand in hand with the Bama Standard. They're always bringing great content, so make sure you're following their YouTube page as well. Yes, the Teagues are in the house. The Teagues are in the house. It's a great Wednesday, about 8 o'clock, 8:15 out here in Dallas right now. And man, we got a lot of football to talk, so I don't want to waste a lot of time with this. I feel like we should go ahead and get this party started right now. So I'm actually thinking that I'm gonna go ahead and recut that introduction a little bit. Have me high stepping out there as a coach. I know you saw it in the national championship game, but it's about time to remake that high step again in this young 54-year-old body. Let y'all know what's going on. I know JT back there laughing behind the scenes, but I still got a little something, something, man. I can still get these knees up and do some things, and I need for y'all to get y'all energy up. Make sure that you guys are hitting the chat, doing y'all everything that y'all need to know. Pop your questions in, because it's going to be good. We got a lot of good insight coming to you tonight. We got a very special guest who we'll introduce in a moment. But again, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Let everybody know we're live. Go ahead and tweet it out, put it out on Instagram, do all the things you got to do. Let people know that we are about to talk some Alabama football, the good and bad and the ugly of the running game that we have. A little bit of concerns, I would think, that I know that I have um, with our running game. And I don't know. I'm going to be interested to talk to our guest tonight to see if he thinks it's going to be good enough for us to win the national championship with. So I want to go ahead and bring in co-host first, James Teague, the co-host, our producer, the man, the myth, the legend, the
Well,
analytical one.
well, before
What?
we get too far, we gotta thank Jimmy for the $20 donation. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes, sir. We do appreciate it, Jimmy. Means a lot to us. Uh, we're it helps when you have people like us, like you, to be able to support that are supporting our podcast and keeping us going every single week. Okay, so Jimmy, make sure if you got anything that you need to know about, just let us know. Put in the comments. JT will mark it, and we'll get your question answered. So, JT, before we bring in our guests, I'm going to say I just want to ask you about this run game. Not anything specific about it. Just is it good? Is it bad? Is it ugly? That's what I'm going to say. What do you think about a run game at
Uh,
Alabama?
ugly is pretty apt, I think. Yeah, I don't. I'm interested to hear what our guest has to say about it as he's been dissecting it over the last 10 days for us. But as I've said over the last couple of weeks, I just don't think that we are good enough at what we're trying to do. There are some that, to even my untrained eye, I think some of the angles are bad, especially when we're trying to get up to the second level. I think there's some. I don't think our backs are hitting some of the plays the way that they should be.
Mhm.
I think there's a tendency to bounce things a little too much instead of trying to just stick our nose in there and just pick up some yards. Um, And Keith is saying that DeBoer and Grubb have to realize you have to run the ball in the SEC. I don't think it's that they're reluctant to run the ball. I just think that we can't. In short, I don't think that we're good enough to run the ball the way that we have been um, accustomed to. So I don't think it's that Grubb doesn't want to. I just think that when we do, it's not generally effective, which makes it tough.
Okay. Well, I think the purpose of this show is going to be able to hopefully be able to let everybody know why we're not good enough. Why is this happening the way that it is? Is it scheme? Is it personnel? Is it all the above? Is it the running backs? Is it the linemen? Let's try to figure it out. So you mentioned it, and the person that we have in coming in today, man, I do consider him a friend. We've been able to meet in person and talk about this. And as a former player, which he is, and as an offensive lineman, to be able to dissect it and look at it, I don't know if he's happy or what it is. Just be able to jump into the film. I know he made some good, funny comments to me about after he started watching it. He couldn't decide if he wanted to go to work or if he wanted to watch the film all day. But after having a full week and some extra time to be able to watch some film, he should be able to give us some very good insight on this. So we're going to bring in Griff Redmill. He played at Alabama, was a starter for us, been able to actually dissect this, as I said. He is in Alabama, so he's close to it. He gets to go to a lot of games, get to go to some practices. He's very involved from as an alumni. I'm still waiting for him to get me a couple extra tickets on one of these games, but maybe I can convince him after this show. So I want everybody to give a big round of applause, JT, to Mr. Griff Redmill. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And thank you, Jimmy, for another $20.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Keep doing it, baby. I'll join in with Mr. Clay. We do appreciate it very much, man. Griff, you looking young, man. You look like you look in your playing days, man. What are you doing to keep yourself all healthy and looking all young? You got some good facial cream, or what do you got? You woke up like that, huh? You woke up like that?
Oh, well, happy birthday.
Yeah, all right. Well, happy birthday. You didn't tell us that part. We would have tried to get you out another day, but um, well, it's very special. Thank you again for coming on to your happy birthday, coming on doing your birthday stint, and shout out to your family for allowing you to come spend a little time with us. So before we get into the nuts and bolts, man, tell me how was it, man? Just did you feel young again going back, getting in the film room and watching the film, or what was it like just sitting there watching game after game and trying to see what's really happening?
Uh-oh. Hold on. We're being told that we cannot hear Griff. So before we go too much further, all right, go ahead, Griff.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, your
Yes.
bars are green.
Okay, all good. Yeah, it was fun. I think you take for granted you watch so much film when you're playing ball. You come in every day and they put that cut up on the screen, and then you graduate and you become a normal fan and you're watching on live TV like everybody else. So being able to get those cut ups, and that was something I asked George about weeks ago. I didn't know how coveted these cut ups are. Like you can't just get these things. Like I got some stuff I need to see. So I did take just for my own curiosity's sake, and so I appreciate you including me in the show and allow me to see some of that stuff because it is fun to watch. When you kind of come up, everybody else, the general population watches it from the sky cam or the stadium cam or whatever the television is broadcasting. But if you really want to see what's going on, those end zone cut ups, man, it's sheds a different light on what you're watching. So it was fun to get to do that.
Yeah, well, thank you for reminding everyone that it's a very special place when you come over here and teach take, and we can actually show you the film. A lot of times you don't get to see it all; it's just a lot of talking points. But we pride ourselves on at least trying to show you what's really happening and bring on experts like this to be able to do this. And we're very happy for you because we sit here as defensive players We know how we think, and particularly defensive backs. Sometimes we see it a little different. So your expertise today is going to be very valuable to our viewers. So thank you. So before we get into this kind of stuff, can you talk to me and JT and the viewers about different type of run schemes, right? Gap scheme, zone schemes. What does that mean before we get into this, and what are we actually doing with Alabama? What type of schemes are we running?
Well, we're doing a lot of different things. I mean, the difference in zone and gap, is going to depend on your personnel a lot of times. If you got a real aggressive offensive front, real aggressive running back, the gap schemes can produce big plays, but a lot of times you've got a little more balanced type personnel. It might lend itself more to the zone concept. It's a little easier to teach, a little easier to understand, a little easier to grasp. A lot of them have the same basic concepts. I mean, you got to know who your guy is. You got to know if you're responsible for more than one guy. If there's a combination block, you've got to get movement. It doesn't matter what run scheme you're running. If you don't get movement at the key point of attack, points of the play, none of them are going to work. And then I think one thing everybody always talks about till people are tired of hearing about it is continuity within the line of how to execute these things. And it's a reality. I mean, all these guys are 4 and 5 star players and got great talent, but how does that how do you turn that talent pool into a productive play that you can execute at a high level and stack good plays together? And I think that's kind of what we're searching for right now with our offense. And being an old offensive lineman, when the running game or pass protection is not going well, we kind of get defensive of our guys. It's like because it's not always about them. And JT mentioned earlier, he's like, I don't know if Griff's happy or sad or frustrated or whatever. Yeah, I'm not happy about the way the run game looks. You're watching these films, and it's like you can see a lot of things, but we got a lot of great talent on that side of the football, offensive line, running back, skill. But we hadn't put it together yet into a complete package where it shows for a productive running attack.
Well, what about this continuity you're talking about? How much? I mean, dive in that a little bit more. It seems like guys are being moved around. I don't know if they're being benched or just not good enough or injuries. But what, as a player, how did that really play into it when you knew you had the same guys right next to you? Is it that much of a difference when it changes, perhaps from week to week, series to series, play to play?
Well, I think it makes a big difference. And I noticed this. I believe it was week 3, and I was asking some folks, some of my folks in media, and I don't think a lot of people picked up on it. But it was either week 2 or week 3. I noticed that we subbed the both guards and the right tackle early in the game, like third series. And I thought, okay, maybe we're trying something different. I wasn't sure if it was a competition thing because there have been some pretty feisty competitions at those positions. And then those 2 guys, they wind up playing at least half the snaps of the rest of the game. So you're kind of wondering, what is this? Are they trying to shake things up? Are they trying to give guys a wake-up call? But then we went through the next 3 or 4 games, and it was the same. It's these 2s come in early, like second, third series, and either split time throughout the game. If not, maybe in a couple games, maybe played more snaps than the 1A guys, if you will. And then Tennessee rolls around, and we come out with a totally different configuration. They bounced Vandermark, who'd been solid at right guard. They start him at left guard, and then they start Roberts, 77, who didn't play a play, I believe, the week prior, maybe 2 weeks prior, and he starts at right guard. And then, of course, the Carroll freshman started at right tackle. And so wasn't quite sure what they were doing. And I've been to practice a couple times this year and just inquiring. And I think a lot of it was it has been competition. I mean, there's some guys that are close to one another. I mean, it's 1A, 1B. And I think they want to get those guys reps. I think they want to continue to challenge the 1A guys. But also I think it's a lot about stamina. And, we've got some freakish athletes on that offensive line in terms of size, strength. And those guys, the strength and conditioning program speaks for itself. But man, it doesn't matter if you're 350. You only got so many hits in the tank, and so I really think if you look back at the Tennessee game, you saw that shake up combination. But when we got to the last 3 series, it was all 1A guys, And so I think it's just a little bit different tactic and a way to build depth. We live in a new age now, where you got guys that can play, but they may be one step away from being the number one guy. Man, if you don't find a way to get those guys on the field, you're not going to have them next year. So I think that's probably part of some of it. But I do think a lot of it has to do with that fourth quarter and having those guys. I remember Coach Stallings. I played for him for 1 year. He retired after my freshman year, but every game the offensive line rolled out and starters played the first 3 series, and the twos got either 1 series or 2 series. And that rotation happened. It didn't matter what the situation was, really. And, we got away from that in years. And I've been saying for the last 10 years, man, we never see the 2 O-line. Never see them. It doesn't matter if we're up by 40 or 50. All these other positions are rotating guys throughout the game. And then when the game gets away from the other team, you see the 2s and 3s get in there. And you don't see that from the offensive line. So part of it I thought was a positive because it's real hard. I mean, it's a tough job for these kids, just living that day-to-day grind and being one snap away from being the guy, and you might not get on the field all year long. So I think there's positives in the way they've kind of handled this rotation, but I think the downside is kind of at the crux of what we're talking about here. It's the continuity in the run game. Because if you go across the board on each offensive lineman and just about any play, if you're just watching them man for man, you see them mauling guys, beating guys up. But the drop-off comes when you have these key combination blocks, the point of attack. And I guess it's scheme, a lot of it. It seems like when we run the ball, we run these tight bunch formations. I'm sure you guys have noticed this, like whether it's, an H-back and a tight end, whether it's 3 wide receivers, but they're all grouped close to the line of scrimmage. And it feels like it's almost 100% when we come out in one of those formations, we're running the ball. And, hey, I've never gotten paid a day in my life to do what we're doing here. So far be it for me to second guess, Ryan Grubb and what he's put together. But one of the key things about making these things successful is creating. And when we go to run the football based on our formation, it's almost like we do the opposite. It's a lot of chaos, a lot of congestion. We got all the bodies pulled in tight to the box, and then we like these inside. We're going a lot of counter action, a lot of cross buck where you've got 1 or 2 linemen pulling. Sometimes you got a wide receiver cutting across as a puller. Sometimes it's an H back. A lot of movement in a scheme that would require space to make it successful. And we got all the bodies stacked in the box because of our formation. And so it seems to be problematic from that regard. Again, it's not how I would do it. I'm thinking about let's spread them out. Let's spread our splits out, let's spread the formation out, and give ourselves a chance with some running lanes. But that's not what we're doing.
Okay, well, let's see if we can put this in here. And I just want to make the point. He kind of mentioned something. I always just try to thought about JT. Was it rotating these guys in? Was it a competitive factor versus trying to keep people happy so they don't hit the transfer portal nowadays? People don't play. They figure like we got to go, and you don't want to lose your depth. But I don't know, JT. You think it's ready? Can we show a couple plays?
Yeah.
Get to some of this run game stuff to see what he's talking about. We can show some of the LSU film and let him talk us through these looks. So we got one here. JT, you want to talk about this from a defensive side first? The alignment, maybe what you're trying to focus on as a coordinator on.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is actually kind of a standard alignment for us. And actually, I probably should go to the wide because it kind of does matter too on what kind of set we have here. So, we're starting out in they're starting out an empty, moving the back end, and I really think they were doing this to really try to get an indicator, right? Of like, are we getting man or zone here? And since the corner just kind of walks out, probably thinking zone. But I think the key thing to note from this is that we've got a slot receiver out here. So because we have that slot receiver, we're going to have to apex somebody out here, right? So that will kind of start to change what we're thinking about our run fit. And we'll go to the end zone and see here, especially since we have a tight end. So it's technically trips out to the right side. But from there, we've just got a standard. Well, I guess this is an under front, right? Because we got a 2-eye to the tight end, which is number 90. So he's inside shade of the guard. And the 3-tech, the outside shade of the guard, is actually set away from the tight end. So, but it's just a standard 4-down, even front. So I don't think there's particularly anything special about this pre-snap. I mean, I don't know if they're going to slant or twist or send pressure or anything like that. But as it sits right now, we're just going to try to. We got 90 manning the A gap. We got this. I don't know what number this is, but he's got a black towel. He's got B gap. We got a wide 5. He's got C, and then we've got a head up 6 right here with number 6, I think. And he's probably gonna have to. He's gonna have to play inside the tight end because 7 is going to be taking the outside here.
I think we got some pretty big tendencies here because you see every time the running back move, the linebackers start moving the opposite way. But anyway, we'll let it go and let's see what they run. Is this just end up being a zone?
Yep, inside zone looks like.
Okay, Griff. Now we got inside zone. Are these typically man on man? Should you be trying to get doubles up to anyone? What do you think?
Well, generally you're going to have that center left guard combination, but you got the nose tackle playing a 2-eye, so there's not much help the center can give here. So this is a tough block for 71 because he's at a disadvantage by alignment here. So if you let it roll, you can kind of see what happens. Center works to the play side, does a pretty good job,
which is to his right.
Correct.
I'm sorry, I was messing with my mic. Who should I be pointing at?
Just on the center, 72. Just let the play roll right here. Normally a key part of this block right here is going to be these play side blocks, and so by alignment, the 2-eye is not in a spot where the center can give much help because he's got to get zone side, got to get play side, get up to the next level. So you got a really tough block for this backside guard here because the guy's already got an advantage by alignment. So doesn't do a terrible job here. You got to get your head across and try to wash, which he does. Probably more penetration than they want, but it's a pretty tough spot for this lineman to be in with no help on this scheme. And the defensive tackle does a pretty good job of holding his ground and not getting washed. From there with the zone, this whole thing's got to move up like a wave, and so we can't get a stalemate on the right tackle here or the right guard maybe.
This one here.
Yep.
Yeah. It seems like to me that with this particular play, like somebody, I don't know if reach is the right word here, but you got to be able to. It seems like you got to be able to reach somebody because if we're all stepping collectively to the offense's right, and really right now, which I guess is maybe they know this, that maybe this is why they're in the underfront because we're actually, if you're the LSU defense, you're actually shaded to the correct side already. You're stepping that way in the zone scheme, trying to cut people off. But if you don't, and everybody's kind of inside, there's already no cutback.
All the way back.
Right. So this has to roll out the front door this way. But even then, your linebackers have moved over half a gap, and the center trying to get on the other side of 42 here is already going to be difficult.
Yeah, it's tough play to make. So, the way the zone is supposed to look, everybody's on their right man. Everybody's going to the right spot, but we can't execute the play. And, I really think probably a check to zone left would have probably been a more advantageous call right here.
Yeah, I think if you stay in this look and you actually run zone back this way, you're in a better position, right? Because everybody's going to step to their left now, and it's easy to wall when they're shaded the opposite way.
What I always loved about running the zone scheme is it's highly dependent on these combination blocks. And based on the alignment right here, they really take away those combination blocks.
Mm-hmm.
So what you've got are 3 really tough one-on-one blocks where you got to get movement and get to the second level. And you see the second level guy, number 72, our center, who is, far and away probably our best guy. There's not much he can't do, but it's real hard to ask a guy to get. There's no way, you've got this defensive end out here, this defensive tackle that's so wide. There's no combination block there between him and the right guard. So he's got to go to the linebacker, but for him to be able to get a reach on that guy is just next to impossible right there.
Not going to do it.
Yeah, and this is from a defense's point. This is what I like about having the 2-eye, is because I think it makes the linebackers' reads a bit easier. Because as you're saying, with the center has to make a decision. If he steps down to 90 to help with this, and 42 reads his keys, you're never going to touch this linebacker, and he's going to be unblocked, right? So you kind of have to go. You got to go to the linebacker right now, and that helps, to me, the backside linebacker, because now he knows that he needs to be running right through here. You guys can see my cursor, and that means the tackle has to go right now, and now he can't help on the defensive end. Right. So, and then this is all just going back to what you were saying about you're almost just taking away the ability to be able to get these combo blocks. And most of it is just based on alignment here.
Yeah. And I think one of the key factors, when we ran zone, we almost exclusively ran it with a true tight end on the line of scrimmage. And so, the second advantage of the zone is the cutback. And so, we're playing it here, our backside guys are in a 2-point stance, and our tight end is really an H-back. He's playing off. So, I'm not a fan of that because, you're giving that guy a step and a half advantage on him. Unless that H-back is just a stud and can cut that guy and wash him, you're giving up advantage. You're giving up turf right there.
Yeah, but does that help you off? So I'm playing a little bit of devil's advocate, just a little bit, because with this off, what about the split zone? Meaning if they actually
send all the step down this way, and then you get
back.
The wham coming back across.
Yeah, that's the thing is we don't know what else they're trying to play off this formation and off this look. They could be trying to do 5 different other things off of it. But when you're talking about this play, if you got that guy on the line of scrimmage, I'm not sure what number that is playing the H-back. You at least have a chance with a cutback if you can get good contact at the point of attack there and make sure you get him cut off and get washed. He kind of sort of does get washed, but he's already given up a step and a half based on his alignment. So it makes the cutback non-existent too.
Can you tell me about the running back's path here? Because this is something that I'm thinking I don't like too much. Because the path that Jam is taking looks like he's working to cut back immediately. It looks like he's already trying to get back into that backside A, and then he has to redirect to go out the front side rather than it seems like, your typical inside zone, or maybe they're called this wide zone. I don't know, mid zone, all these different zones that to me all look the same. But it looks like his aiming point should be out here to begin with. And it's not.
At least front side A. It's supposed to be front side A, typically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem like it's wide enough. It seems like he's already hitting backside A, and then he's got to bounce to get back out the front door, and then definitely by that time it's too late.
Yeah, again, who knows how they're coaching it? I know how we were coached, and we kept it simple. We had zone right, zone left, stretch, inside zone. All right, so this looks like a typical zone right here, where the aiming point would be, the crack of that right guard right there. That's how you're starting, and you're tracking from there. Mm-hmm. I don't know, maybe Jam sees number 90 get this penetration right here, or what looks like penetration. It winds up being a okay block, so if you just kept his path.
I feel like if he hits it, if he just goes and trusts it, he at least gets something.
And those little hesitations, I mean, they're so slight when you're watching it live, on television, that most people don't even know it. But when you go back and watch these cut ups, and you can see, all right, so there's a hesitation, he's not gonna get the block. Okay, well, he does get the block. So it's just enough to make it a no gainer or a tackle for loss, whereas it might have been 3 or 4 yards. And there's a compounding effect there. I mean, it's stacking up positive plays, and it builds in the psyche of the offense just as much as it does the defense. So the defense walks away from that play feeling like a victory when really if that hadn't been that just little misstep, maybe probably a positive gainer. And, you got another chance to go, stack another good play on top of it, building the momentum.
So you look at these linebackers again. Sorry, I'm going to the next one.
Well, yeah. So I mean, this time it's you were starting empty again, right? And we're looking at zone, and you got a tight end down here at the bottom. So you got a tight end, running back, and you got trips into, well, I shouldn't say into the boundary, but you got trips on the other side. Then once you get the motion, back goes back across. Now you got essentially 4 strong, and I guess let's look at the end zone here.
They still put the linebackers away from the running back. That's what I'm saying. Because they slid right again. It's like just feel like we got some kind of tail here.
Yeah, so we're still in an under front. And now you've got the same thing. This time it looks more like outside zone now. I mean, we're turning and running. And I think we do a better job here, actually.
Well, I'm wondering if I know he's not pulling it, but with Milrow, we probably potentially read number 6.
Mm-hmm. But I think now you have a problem of like 90 he kind of whoops 71 here, getting up field. So now you can't. He can't take the path that he wants to take to try to get outside and knife because 90's up the field, right? So it's funneled back to you're unblocked.
But that's a good example of how plan B with the zone is. It's kind of, wouldn't say it's your bailout plan, but if it's there, this should be there, and so you get a good wash. And you got some space there to make something happen. So you got a positive play.
We got 4 or 5 years. So why don't you talk about 77's technique here just a little bit for these very, very serious people? I like it. I'm just trying to say, what do you think about this technique right here, and what do you call it?
Well, they're scooping. There's really nobody for 70 to scoop. But again, zone, you're blocking an area. You're blocking the zone. So if there's no man there, you're working up to the next level. So he does a pretty great job here with his foot placement. Probably a little bit of step underneath himself there. If I were channeling my inner Neil Callaway, what he would say. But, he tracks it right, checks, no help needed there, move up, still a backside backer. That's exactly what it's supposed to look like.
Nice. Okay. So this is positive.
That's a positive. That's a positive. I'd give that a plus.
All right. All right, so you're talking about these condensed formations here. Is just something that you're mentioning that you're talking about? Are we bringing them in too close, or is it? What are you wanting from this? More play action, or are you wanting?
Well, yeah, more play action would be nice, I guess. What I don't like about it, especially, and I don't think this is an example of one of these plays, but we have all this pulling action. 1 or 2 pullers, crossbuck movement. It just seems to create a lot of bodies and a lot of chaos right there in the box. That when you're calling a play where you've got somebody pulling, whether they're pulling to kick or pulling to wrap, that puller is a critical part of that play. Like that guy, he's not pulling just because he looks good running, around the corner. Like he's got a critical block he's got to make. And when you have all this congestion, it makes those kind of plays. And we run a lot of them. We hadn't seen a lot of them in these cut-ups yet. It's in mostly zone, but when we run those and there's all this chaos, it makes it hard for anybody to execute all the blocks. You get a good block at the point of attack, but you've got extra personnel in there, so the puller can't get through the hole and make the lead block, or he can't, he gets picked off and can't make the wrap. That's just why I'm not a fan of these tight formations and those running play types. But
I'm sorry. Do you like these double teams by the inside right and right guard, right tackle?
Let's watch it. Let it roll real quick.
Center and the left guard. There's 2 double teams.
I mean, it winds up pretty well. I think the right guard, I think Roberts, he's probably supposed to be taking a little bit more of an inside path there. He kind of steps underneath himself. They get great movement. I think, by happenstance, the tackle gets up on the backer fairly well. If they had to do that by the book, I think Roberts is probably taking more of a better step with his left foot, trying to influence that guy with him, and then you get the same result. But it's pretty good.
Josh Zimlick has a good question. Seems like we run a lot of counters and puller plays. Are those harder to run than other runs?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I liked running those plays. We were good at them when I was there. Of course, we had Sean Alexander, so we just kind of turned around and hand the ball to him, and everybody else tried not to screw it up. but anytime you got a big guy running out in space, there are guys that are great at it, and then everybody else is just trying to catch up, so to speak. So we run a lot of that, and I don't know how many of our guys are great at it. And again, all of these take a lot of plays together with a group, because when you're working combination blocks, those are always key on these pulling plays. You got to get movement, and then you got to get to that backside backer. You got to get to the second level. And so while you watch some of these guys in these one-on-one matchups, and it's like, man, these guys are beating these guys up. When it comes to the combination matchups, that's really where the bread's buttered. If you don't have the feel with that guy you're working that combination block with, you're not going to get the movement at the point of attack you need. You might be in the right places, you might be going at the right guys, but if you can't execute it the way the block's meant to be intended, then the play's not going to be successful. So cut-ups I was watching, I saw a lot of that. I saw a lot of, these guys are going to the right spot, but it's just not clean. It's not a clean transition from the first level to the second level. And I think that, if there's a downside to rotating a lot of guys in, it's that they're not getting consistent work with the same guy to their right or their left, play by play. But, that's a matter of opinion. I mean, any one of these guys are one play away from, from an injury, and there'd be another guy in there. So, maybe you sacrifice some of that for getting these guys experience along the way.
Okay. Well, we got to try to execute a quarterback sneak here.
Yeah, so here, this is 3rd and 1, I believe. And
Goose.
we don't convert here.
Yeah. I don't know. I get it, the wedge blocking. I don't know what's the quarterback supposed to do. Is this a quarterback issue? He's supposed to go over the top, pull a Mahomes or Josh and jump over, stick the ball over.
Watch 56 technique right here. This is a new one. This is like the equivalent of just squatting over a log, but that's the block right there. Like that's what makes this a first down or not.
And you're talking about this right here, about how they essentially don't move this guy.
Right. I mean, look at the center and the left guard. I mean, pad level's good, takeoff's good, but every now and then you got a bear in there, and this guy, he does a great job of just stopping that movement at the point of attack. And if you don't get it right there, you're not going to get this unless the ball carrier just makes a magical play.
All right. So then the very next play, 4th and 1. We're going to shift to Wildcat.
Do you like the Wildcat with a quarterback right there, though? What is the purpose of?
I like it if you're actually going to get, like if they were. This is a great play if they actually just hand it back to Ty.
Yeah, it looks like he's got it easy right here.
Let him run around the corner. Just
to him. All right, look, you only need 1 yard. Like he can fall for it and get a yard on this. But I think everybody in the stadium knows that they're not handing the ball back to the quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, you need to cut this film up for our team with 44 on how he
Right, because
takes
here,
the
right,
pull-up.
this is your split zone, right, and you're trying to. The
Kick
idea is that you're going to kick
Just
this
kick,
dude
right.
out, and you're up on the linebacker, and you should be able to just get a yard if you go straight ahead. But he goes down, he spills this, and just got to bounce outside. I mean, this is exactly what defensively. This is exactly what you want.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's tough. I don't.
But I don't know, like offensively, I don't know how you like. What are they saying in the film room about this?
Well, it's kind of weird. I'm saying, well, I don't know. Maybe he can talk about it. I guess 96. They're 96. Are we trying to cut them out? What are we running here? Is it? I don't know if this is. I'm just looking at the way
I think
7.
what they're looking for here is the tackle helping on this 2-eye. If he's playing a 3 technique, it probably looks a lot different because that defensive end is going to be out wider too. So, again, the formation, I mean, it puts us in a tough spot because, your angles are off and it just makes it difficult to get this block. And I don't know, all these, cross buck plays, I mean, they look exciting. It's
But
like,
should he hold on? But should he just block down on 96? Look like he's trying to
He's trying to reach
him or scoop him, and should it be a down block? Just
wash him down in there.
wash him down. Let the
with the right guard should be watching with him like this, and so it's kind of a stalemate. So there's nothing really for the tackle to do here because he's so far down inside, but come up on the backer. But again, it's all contingent on this puller getting this kick out, and you have all this congestion and chaos. So the block's not effective.
And even at the top side, I'm being very critical here, but not necessarily. It's number 12, and because we got one guy on 16 and 12. Somebody's got to be unblocked because they got too many. What they got in there? 3, 6, 7, 8. They got a lot of bodies. I mean, it's hard to run against a stack box like this.
Right. Which is why I don't necessarily, I'm not a fan of this. It just makes it too difficult to get the angle, to get the space.
All right, well, let's move on to our last run play here. This is everybody's in. Is this all 11 of us? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Yep, everybody's in there.
Yep, you got Trips, nasty bunch over here. You got a inline tight end on the backside.
I feel like we see this a lot. I didn't go down and break down how many times we come out in this formation, but it seems like if we wind up with a no gainer or a or TFL, where it's coming out of this formation, unless we bust a big one, but there's no middle ground.
All right. So originally I was thinking like, hey, we're about to maybe not excoriate, but have some problems with the offense here. But this actually looks like just a pretty good call defensively because they're sending the linebacker and the safety. Right. And
yeah.
And you got
who's your receiver supposed to
poor
block?
child. Yeah, your receiver is not equipped to lead here. I don't think that this is.
He's your rep. He's supposed to block 13.
Right. This is kind of like, I guess, essentially power. Right. We're going to kick out this guy, and here's your puller to.
Yeah, we're running power with a wide receiver. It's
But even then, I'm thinking like, let's say he does do what he's supposed to do, and he blocks the safety. Who's got this guy?
Yeah,
that guy's unblocked.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, at this point, 42 is unblocked too because he just kind of dips underneath and blows us up in the backfield. So
I don't
really,
know.
there's
We have
three
to watch
people
the
here that's unblocked. One of them should be blocked. The other one should be blocked. And there's
now we hadn't done enough like Griff has been saying is we haven't went and broke this down like we were watching our game film or something at JP2, but it just seems like there's some without me going, just seems like we got some tendency somewhere in here, man. Like you said, maybe it's formation stuff. I don't know because you should be able to run the ball a little bit better and shouldn't really necessarily have this happening as often as it happens.
Yeah, 42 belongs to 75 here, but of course he shows quick, so he's surprised. Guy does a good job blowing it up. So I'm with you, George. I think when we go to this, I mean, this is the result you're going to get from a defensive coach that's been scouting you. Let's run these guys in here, and it's one thing to make that block 2 yards up on the second level, and it's another one to,
yeah. I mean, everything that we, I think all the run plays that we picked, and this was not. So for those of you in the audience, we actually just picked like the first 6 run plays. Literally right before I hit the go live button. So, the thing that's standing out to me right now is some of the easy things. Like one, the ball is always and we say this all the time. The ball is always going opposite of running back. Like we haven't shown too much of a threat to pull. But on top of that, it's not actually going opposite the running back. 26's path has been at best same side A gap each time.
Yeah.
Right. So if I'm trying to scheme up our run blitzes, I'm not blitzing opposite of the back because the ball has yet to actually cross the formation. It's always his path has always been same side. So I'm actually, for this particular call, it's like, yes, I want to call my blitz to the back.
Yeah.
Because I know just right now, I'm saying that he's not going to go out the front door. He's going to try to cut it back. And if we can just hit that in the middle and slide to the backside, we're going to be in good position. And I think this is why they've also been setting the front away from the tight end instead of to the tight end, because they're going to want to slant. They're going to want to take away the near side A away from the tight end or on the tight end side, and then run all your games right here.
Yep. And there is a play later in here where you could tell they did that. So they walked up, but there was a delayed snap count or whatever. And the safety, I'll just pretend like 13 went up showed it a little bit too early. And then Ty started checking and moved it back to the other side. Then they just did the blitz from the other side.
Yeah. So that means to me that they're calling the blitzes kind of like we call our blitzes, either field or boundary or to the back or away from the back.
Yeah.
And instead of, sending certain guys. And I think that's a good thing to point out for the audience too, just for how defense is called sometimes is not always, let's send the mic here. A lot of times you're trying to blitz the formation of like, hey, we want to send the pressure to the tight end or away from the tight end, or we want to send the pressure to the back or away from the back. And in this case, like we're saying, we're thinking that LSU probably is sending their blitz to the running back because of things like this.
Yep.
I mean, 42, you can tell he's expecting it right here. I mean, the way he hits the gap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that guy hadn't watched that on film.
Well, that's where you got to do some self scout, use a bye week, kind of figure out what you're doing and what you're showing. And I'm not saying they're not doing it. Maybe they're just saying, "Hey, it doesn't matter. I'm better than you. We're going to run it." But
Yeah.
you just hope that the same way we're looking at this, you got some GA or something kind of looking at this, going, "Hey, man, we got to." I mean, it's all in the systems now, right, JT? If you plug in your formations, I mean, we could do it in here if we wanted to, right, and have a pretty good idea without even watching the film. I mean, if you just tag every play, you can
I mean, that's what I do now, right? I tag all the formations and I tag the backfield and that, and then I just filter and run the report, and it shows me like, hey, 80% of the runs are going to the right, or like, oh, look at that, and I ain't even watched a snap yet. Just be able to look at the bar chart and know based on formation and back set which way the ball is going.
So here we go. I can ask for a selfless plug of, hey, you guys can help us support us with that. We do thank you guys for the small donations and things. But anybody would like to get that extra kind of data, we have the ability to be able to send this film off, because it takes a lot of time to put every single one of those plays in. But if you'd like to give us a few $100s to help us get this data in, we could actually drop all the data in and give you all the tendencies by letting some experts help us put that data in, kind of like what we had last year. We did it a whole lot last year. So consider being a sponsor of the show and, help us get some more of this data in. Okay. All right. You had some more. You got
defenses. Yeah, so the defensive stuff, a lot of the stuff that I put on here, I kind of just thought it was kind of cool.
Spoken from a defensive coach. You like this little set here? You don't know what's going on with the.
Okay, hold on. Before we get into this, let's answer some questions. Smoke Vicious asks, "Is our run game fixable?"
I like that. Griff,
100%. With the guys we got on the roster, we can fix it. I think the biggest probably issue, I was going to kind of save this for the end, but people tend to forget about this, but it's really hard for an offense or a defense for that matter to be all things to all people. Like it's hard to be a great passing attack and have a great running attack, because that's, if you're 65% pass, generally those teams are going to be weaker in the run game because that's not what they're repping every day in practice. When you're good on good, you're repping the things that you're going to be doing. And so I think you see that come out a lot of times. So, but we've shown that we're really good. I've been to practice a few times and I've seen some pretty cool things where they rep situations. And when it comes to the game, we execute those situational type opportunities in a really fantastic way. So yeah, if it's something that our staff wants to fix or thinks needs to be fixed, I think they got the personnel to do it. But you look at the overall picture, is it something they're really concerned about? I think it's been more glaring maybe the last couple of weeks than before, because the passing game's been so strong. But if they want to fix it, they can fix it. They got the guys to do it.
So what about talk to me a little bit more about this, because you kind of alluded to you knowing where running backs are supposed to go or help set up blocks or something of that nature. Can you talk about what that communication is like? During the week, do you guys actually watch film with running backs? Do you just talk about it? How do you get the feel of the running backs to kind of know, like, hey, we're doing this? Is it all separate all the time? Do you guys come together and really try to figure out, like, hey, we're going to set it up this way? Give us a little insight on what that's like.
Well, we never, we always watch film. This is 25 years ago, so I'm sure they do it 10,000 ways differently now, but it was always by position group with the way you watch film. But the understanding was it's all being coached the same. And so when we got together on the field before team period, you may be working in smaller groups with the backs, with the tight ends, where you're working on these things that are where it's a combination of factors. It's like the running back, his aim point is here. The guard knows, all right, the aiming point is, my butt crack is the aiming point. So he knows that is a critical block, of how it's gonna go. Whether you get movement at the point of attack, whether you got to wash, whether you got to just try to survive, and that running back is coached where to go from there. And I think what we've seen the first few weeks a lot is, and we've seen in these clips here, is some unsure point of attack from the running backs, ball track. And I don't know, Jam's out first part of the season, maybe knocking some rust off the wheels. We saw several of the younger guys early on, and those guys made some explosive plays, get the fans excited. But when we went back and watched those films, those cut-ups that you sent, you really saw those younger guys making a lot more of those mistakes, which is probably why they've kind of disappeared as you get into the meat of the season. They're doing it less well than the 1A and the 1B guys. But clearly, you're seeing there's not a confidence there with the ball track that the running backs initially taken on a lot of these, and it's an important part of making the play successful.
So, Smoke Vicious, thank you for the $2 donation on that. He also asked, who is our best group on the field? I'm assuming since we were doing offensive stuff, we were probably talking about the offense, which I think it has to default to the receivers, right?
Unless he's talking about the best offensive line,
best 5 offensive linemen. Okay, yeah, let's do it. What do you think?
We've seen more combinations out of that group than I've seen out of any offensive line in Alabama in the last 15 years. They've mixed it up a lot. I think the best offensive line combination is obviously 74 at left tackle, 71 at left guard. Brailsford, hands down, probably the best center in the country. And then, at times, I think 77 Roberts when he's healthy. That guy is a man child. He may not be everything on technique, but he can move bodies around. And then Formby's got a lot of criticism, but when you watch the game, start to finish, he's given up some big plays at inopportune times. But for the most part, he's graded out pretty solid all year long. So I think that's your best 5. The other folks, the Carroll kid that's a freshman that's played a lot of right tackle, he's going to be the real deal. He's still a true freshman, though. Right here and right now, though, I think it's that first 5 that I just mentioned, and there's some other guys that are gonna find their way onto the field as time goes on.
Okay. And then last question, real quick. Chemical Coyote asks, sponsor who, what, who, how, what, where. So if you have interest in being a sponsor, I suppose email george@georgeteague.com and ask for further details and let us know what you'd like us to promote, and we can work through the details that way.
That's right. Well, thank you. And we're glad you're back. We missed you. We ain't seen her in a long time. So I'm glad she's back on the scene. Yep, you can hit me up, george@georgeteague.com. That'd be great. Okay. Well, we can test a little bit of your skill on Griff here, and we can talk about both sides of the ball when we're doing this. So we're going to talk a little defense here for a little bit. JT, you picked this one because you like to twist on the inside, or
no? This was pretty cool because we're using a linebacker as your other 3, right? Because you've got one defensive lineman that's already in a 3, and then you got this 9 technique over here. So it's on the board. It's scary, right? You've got 1, 2, 3, 4 open gaps right here.
Down distance.
Yeah, let's check that out real quick. So it's 3rd and 6. They're in their third down package. They've probably scouted this as a passing down, right? So this is how you're able to get away with stuff like this. But at the same time, what I found cool about this is that although it looks like all these gaps are open, the way that they stunt, they actually close them all up pretty good in getting into essentially a 4-man rush So what they do here, and you need some athletic guys. And thank you for the $20 donation, Chemical Coyote. Really appreciate that.
Thank you.
So you got to have this is probably one of our biggest defensive linemen right here. And this is how you know you got dudes, right? Because you got this guy who's in a B gap on one side, and he's going to loop all the way across the formation to contain on the other side.
Yeah.
So
he's moving.
Right. You've got these two twisting inside. You know, you're thinking, you know, maybe one's going to hit here and one's going to hit here. And they're actually going to go all the way around. And the two defensive ends are going to cut inside. So this is, I mean, I don't think I'd ever do this, but
it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I don't have guys like this to be able to do this. But, you know, when I saw this, I was like, wait a minute, this is, you know, you end up getting the linemen are freezing a little bit. Now this is a screen. So, you know, not particularly the best play call here. Oh, and now I just realized why my clip count is wrong. I didn't realize that I added the same clip twice because there was two things. There's two things on this play that I like.
Ooh, that's called ADD right there, Griff.
The twist. Well, because I added this play again because at the end of the play, I wanted to talk about punch in the pocket.
Yes. Beautiful.
So on the tackle here, and I wish I could zoom in a bit. But 41 kind of, he secures the tackle, and then you can see in his offhand, he punches across.
Oh, this was a fantastic play by him.
Yes.
Now I know where we're at. I'd hate to take a right hook from that guy.
Yeah. I mean, this is.
While running at your full speed.
Because, I mean, I don't think people really understand. It's easy to sit here and run this back in slow motion and see what a great play. But you're running 100 miles an hour. He dials in on that punch and knocks that ball out.
Right. I mean, you're getting your hand right on the ball here. And making the tackle, right? If the ball didn't come out, he's still making a tackle, which is very good. So, you know, this is, I'm going to try to find a GIF or something of a better angle so that people can actually see, you know, what it looks like to get your hand in there.
But hadn't been able to get the other. You know, we made it when we get the end zone angle from both end zones. We ain't got that part yet.
Yeah.
Getting there.
That's a huge play, though. Okay, next play. Run stop.
Yep. So this one right here, this is a I was trying to figure out exactly what went wrong. Like who's wrong here. You know, I don't know what the play call is, but I do know that you can't have open gaps. So I don't know who's correct, who's incorrect, but one thing I know for sure is that like even right here, not knowing where the ball is going, this vertical seam is a problem.
I feel like it's a corner. So I think this is your, what do you call it in our defense? Where 41's following the
it kind of like key, right? Where he's
keying him. He's going with him. And I think number 2 right here has got to fall in that gap.
I think you're right here because he jumps outside and oh boy.
Yeah. I think 2's in the wrong spot. Particularly if you see it from the wide angle. But man, gosh. Look at how late they're sitting. Go back. Oh, well, no, that's okay. Go ahead and I just want to make sure we look at their left tackle. Man, he like 2 days late. Good Lord.
Yeah, so on the wide angle here, this is what we're seeing, you know. I think it is. This is this kind of looks like what you get from the TV copy, maybe just a little bit closer. You probably don't see this guy on the screen when you're watching the broadcast, but it's quite difficult to see exactly who's supposed to be where. All you see is back pop out like this, and you're like,
"What happened?
yeah, what the hell
What
happened?
defense fired? Fire Womack." That's
Well, and we've seen that. We've seen that this year. Our run fit from the back end has got us in trouble at some point in time every game.
You talking about us DBs back here? Is that what you saying?
We know how you guys feel about.
That's your little slight remark on what, man. Well,
but it's a little frustrating because I know this he's not a linebacker, right? But this is like the absolute look that you're telling your linebackers. Like when you see a hole open like this, just run through it.
Yeah, fill it.
But we're built to contain. I'm not.
It'll be like running the power O with a wide receiver. I don't know. Why do we have to reinvent it?
Yeah, that's wild to me. That, that's wild. And so Joe Long says 10 gets tackled by the offensive tackle. Hey, when you're in here, when you're in the box, almost anything goes.
So, anything goes right there.
They're not gonna call that.
Yeah, that's kind of fair play when you're down there in the trenches.
Out of 100 plays, that will be called 0 times.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. But now we have some speed to run this down.
Okay, so now we got 2nd and 9. We got here. I don't remember why I put this one on here.
I felt like it was good coverage by the cornerback.
Yes. It was the matchup here. And, I'm not saying that this is why he got benched. Because it's not particularly this. Either somebody told him just to take this throw, or he just this is, I think if you're an LSU fan, this is one of those things where you're just like, oh, this is why we're not very good on offense right now. Because I know this dude is huge. I get it. I know he's 6'7" or whatever. But here's the deal. That guy is like 6'4", and he's 10 yards off.
10 yards off. You can't throw it to him unless you're going to throw it at the sticks to get the first back.
Right. So this ball, this is a huge middle finger by LSU here. Just like, yeah, we're just gonna throw it up, and my dude's better than your dude. And it's like,
and he bails.
Yeah, and at this point, it's like you're throwing the ball and on a 9. This is not open. Like this needs to be you got to break this off out or some kind of comeback or something. And they're just throwing it anyway. And at this point, this is almost like a punt.
Yeah.
Right. So this is not a good play call, or it's not a good read, or whatever. Like I think this is the beginning of the end right now.
It's an 8-man drop anyway. No one's going to be open.
Yeah, like you got to do something else. I think.
You got to remember who you're playing to in the situation. These guys their coach has just been fired. You got kind of a cobbled together staff, and hey, man, sometimes they're just slinging some stuff out there. Let's see if this works. Somebody make something happen.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Would they have called it that way if everything would have been intact 2 weeks ago? Probably.
Well, you say probably not, but I feel like it's things like that got them fired in the first place.
Man.
So who we go? 3 down linemen, and
a lot of people hold on before you get too far into that, because a lot of people I hear a lot of people screaming about 3 down linemen. Yeah, I really like it. Well, we got to be in the front. I get tired of being this 3 down lineman. I know we talk about it over and over again. 3 down. how do you make it into a 4 down? Is it really 3 down that we're playing, or what are we doing here with our backers? So,
Yeah. So, I mean, it is a 3 down. It's, I don't know. I really need to start or retire this of like, is it a 3 down or is it a 4 down? Because really what matters is like, is it even or is it odd? Are we closing the B gaps or are we not closing the B gaps? Are we covering the guards or are we not covering the guards? That's really all that matters. Whether or not these three have their hand in the dirt or not, I mean, we just, what was the very first play? I'm going to skip back real quick. Like, what are we calling this? Is this a 3 down? Is it 2 down? Is it, this is, I don't know. Who cares? Is what it is. Are the gaps covered? Is all I'm really worried about. Right. So when we get here, we got 2 threes and a nose. Right. So this is a tight front or a mint front or, whatever. Is it a 3-6-2? I'd say probably not. We don't have 6 linebackers out here. But who cares what the numbers are? It's a 3-3, unless that guy's a DN. I don't know. Who cares? It doesn't matter. What matters is we're in the gaps that we're supposed to be in, right? And we get a down block, and we get a squeeze, and this is great. And he avoids a block, and we hit the running back in the face. So whether we get
communication by number 3, pushing 41 over, tell him to get over.
Scoot over, because I got this gap out here, which is great. If it rolls out the front, Sav is where he's supposed to be at. And then we got an unblocked linebacker back here, which I think 75 is trying to do his job, but then I think he panics because I feel like this is the same play that we ran where he's supposed to climb up the linebacker here. So, I mean, they're in a world of hurt here because now they got 2 guys that are unblocked. So even if 94 misses, we still got, and then nobody blocks 3. Like that. Look, this is Alabama wearing different jerseys. This is what we asked for, right?
Yeah, and the other thing about these multiple formations on defense, I mean, a lot of that, it's like you said, JT. I mean, the goal is get every gap covered. All right, there's umpteen different ways you can do that, but a lot of times the whole point of these different looking formation is just to create that moment of hesitation about who you're supposed to block, the offensive line. And look at 75. I mean, like he's unsure and he doesn't block anybody. And
yeah, any time that you are facing your quarterback, I think as an offensive lineman, that's a bad spot to be in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
All right. So 3rd and 8, we're backed up. We want to send a blitz. This has to be a mistake. I don't know what their check is, but whatever it is, I don't think the answer is leave number 3 wide open.
You know what it is. This is our defense. The backer at the top is supposed to go work 3 strong because the wind is dropping out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in our defense, he wouldn't be going anymore. We would check to these 2 because we're going to cover that guy. But if you're not, you're right. This guy needs to work this way and not to number 2, or Bray's got to come down, which it's clear that he's not there.
41's going the wrong way. That's not that he's going to make the play, but we ran this in the pros too, and it's just a long way to go. But you're sending 2 backers off the edge. Was that 4 over 2? What is it? I'm saying 4. Which way is the center? Which way does the nose go? No, it's 3 over 2. So they can't block him. I mean,
yeah, you're bringing 1 extra guy, slant inside. I mean, this is.
The 41 got to go right. Is what I'm saying. He's got it. 41 got to go right, like right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he probably actually needs to be closer. He probably needs to be standing where the ref is and not Because yes, he's got a long way to go. Okay, so I
Yes.
put this. This is this is LSU's defense here, but I put this on here because it's always exciting when you see things in your own playbook, and they kind of line up similar to how Alabama did on a previous clip. Right, they're waiting for all the shifts, and then they go from a 3-3 to a 4-2, but they walk up. This is our Bombers look, right?
Yep.
And I've already clipped this, and I'm gonna put it in huddle because this is Bombers read it, where either 42 or 7 is going to be on a blitz. And at this moment in time, they don't know 42 and 7. They don't know which one is going to be on the blitz and which one's going to have to get out. They're going to wait for the center to decide which way he's going to go. And whichever one the center blocks, that player is going to back out into coverage and the other one is going to rush. And it ends up looking pretty good. Back does a good job of stepping up and picking this up. But you'll see once 7 realized that the center is on him, he's out into the pass drop, and we're going to blitz the other linebacker, right? Because he's the free runner. And this is really all you're trying to get to as your defense coordinator here. You're trying to make the back block, right? I mean, we do have good pass blocking backs; those do exist, but these 5 essentially get paid to do that. That's where they make their money. This guy back here, that's not his top priority. His top priority is running the ball, holding on to the ball, and then potentially catching the ball, and then pass blocking after that. So this is the matchup that you're trying to see. And he does a pretty good job. He does do a pretty good job, but his guy is still the one making the tackle here.
Okay. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. I appreciate both of you for all of your insight and what's going on. So I kind of want to ask Griff another question about the backs, because a lot of people are talking about that, and you've alluded to playing with different backs, big backs, and all this kind of stuff in your film study outside of the lineman up front. What do you think about those 2 running backs, pros and cons versus Jam and Hill? What do you see in their big differences in those 2?
Well, I've been a big Jam Miller fan ever since he's been on campus. I mean, he, historically has been somebody you can depend on. He's made big plays for us, but I think he's still knocking some rust off after being out. Those first few games, that's a critical time of the year when everybody's kind of finding their footing. You're working the kinks out, and then everybody kind of together, collectively finds their stride. And when you're kind of sucked out of that for 3 weeks or 4 weeks, and not just game action, but practice too, I think you're seeing it show up in his game. Daniel Hill, he's a kid they've been talking about for a couple of years. He had some injuries last year, kind of kept him off the field. Right now, I mean, he seems like the one that's getting the little things done the most solidly, whether it be in pass protection, whether it be, a ball track, at the handoff, and then making the right cut. I mean, he seems to be giving us the best chance right now. And, and a lot of times it takes time to figure that out. If you got, an offensive line that does this well, or maybe have a deficiency, and one back might be able to make up for that deficiency with his game more so than the other guy. So I think we've kind of been figuring that out a little bit, and you've seen the emergence of Daniel the last few weeks, and I think you're going to see more of him unless something changes with those guys' individual play.
Mm-hmm. All right, so can we win the SEC championship with the running game that we have? JT, I'll ask you first. Can we win when we have to play Texas A&M or whoever it's going to be in the SEC championship? The running game, how important is it to us to actually win just the SEC championship, not the national championship?
I think it is possible. Yes. I think it is exponentially more difficult if you can't.
Okay. All right. Same question to you, Griff. How critical is this to the success having a run game? Can you just put it all on Ty and the wide receivers to take us to the promised land?
I definitely don't disagree with JT. I'll tell you this. You can say what everybody's talked about this. Highly heralded Grub offense. What it was at Washington. And the success they've had here. Being Alabama blue bloods, everybody wants to see a strong running game. But I stumbled across this factoid last week. So this was prior to the LSU game. Obviously, these numbers look a little different, but we were averaging 118 yards a game going into LSU. Not exactly glamorous. But do you want to know what that Washington 23 offense average rushing a game that made a run to the national championship?
What was it?
118 yards a game.
So then that makes me feel better about the other, because I feel like the next question was can they win a national championship with the running game looking like that? And I was going to say absolutely not.
Yeah.
I don't think that. And that was, hearing that with Washington, I'm like, well, yeah, then absolutely not. They're not going to be able to. I don't think they can win at all with the state of the running game where it is right now.
Okay. Well, so this will be my last question, and we'll shut it down. And thank you guys for hanging in with us. It's the defensive question, the same thing. Is our defense strong enough? There's Kenneth, I see it. Defense wins championship. Is our defense truly strong enough to be able to stop the run and help us to win a national championship? I'll go JT first, and we'll let Griff have the last word. Our defense good enough to.
I think they are. I think that the big plays that we've had in the running game are exactly what we just saw. It's not that we're getting. It's not necessarily we're getting bullied and just like moved out of the way. It's somebody misses a run fit, and that to me is much more easily corrected than if you're just getting whooped. Right? There's no magic sauce that keeps you from getting whooped, right? It's the same thing that I got to tell the assistant coaches sometimes. Like, hey, there's nothing on this call sheet that says, help number whoever stop getting manhandled by a guard. But that's not the case. That's not the problem that we have. The problem that we have is a corner supposed to be in B gap and he jumps to C and ball hits where he's supposed to be at, or linebacker makes a wrong read and he's in the opposite A gap when he should have been in backside A gap and the ball hits in there. Those things you can fix, I think, pretty easily from week to week. I think those are easier things to fix. So yes, I do think they are good enough. I think we've seen it. They've been playing very well. I know LSU's offense hasn't been like good, as in they haven't scored more than 25 points in against an FBS opponent all year. But this was also the first game where they didn't score a touchdown either. I think that, and we've talked about this in previous weeks, I think that our second half adjustments, whatever it is that they're doing, is phenomenal with the way it was with Georgia. We wasn't looking so great in the first half, but in the second half, you end up essentially shutting them out. And I think when you're going through the gauntlet of these big offenses, like Mizzou has a great running back. Yeah, I mean, he got his, but it wasn't enough to win the football game. So I do think that the defense is good enough to facilitate making a run.
All right. You feel the same way, Griff?
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. I mean, I feel pretty good about our defense. It's the thing that it's a bend don't break kind of scheme, and folks never like the bend part of that. It's everything that happens in the middle. But I think that what they do really well, they've shown up how to get it done in those critical situations, and most importantly is we got like JT mentioned. Most of the things that we've done poorly are things you can correct in the film room. It's not something you got to correct with a personnel or a deficiency in a player. And we got some guys on that defense that can make plays. I mean, and I think that's always been key to our great defensive teams that have carried us a long way is having playmakers that, no matter what's happening, what the scenario is, they come up with a big play. I mean, you got Hubbard doing it every week. You got Yancey Pierre.
You got Lawson stripping the ball from South Carolina there at the end of the game. Right.
I mean, there's any number of examples of where you got guys on this squad on defense that find a way to make a big play happen at the most glim time of the game. And I think that's always played a huge role in some of our most successful defenses. There's some bend there. The team's going to get theirs at times. But when it counts, we've got some dudes on that defense that can find a way to make a play, get the ball back, change the momentum of the game. And so for that, I feel really good about the situation we're in defensively.
All right. I would say I concur with both of y'all. The only concern that I personally have about our defense is I'm still not convinced we can stop the running quarterback when you add that other piece in there. That scares me to death. So I do think we have a good defense or a great offense. I think we're sitting pretty good, but I think if you got a dual threat type of quarterback, that has always been problems for us. So I hope we show that.
I think if you get past, if you can handle and get past Texas A&M, I think that's probably your toughest challenge as far as like dual threat quarterbacks.
Yes.
Or toughest remaining challenge, because I think even if you get past A&M and then you're in the playoff, I feel a whole lot better having seen that test. Because even if you're running into an Ohio State, which is a very good football team, that guy's not going to be running around like Marcel Reed is.
Yeah, our kryptonite.
I don't want to face Vandy no more.
Well, at this point, Vandy might not make it.
Yeah, they might not, but they play well enough. But anyway, hey, listen, man, we've been on the air an hour and a half already, so we need to let Griff get to work tomorrow. Griff, you want to stay in the film room, or you want us to kick you out so you can actually do some work now? Or
no, man, leave me in there. If my password doesn't expire, just leave me in.
You just let us know what you want to do, but we do appreciate you for your time. If people want to hit you up, do you communicate on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or anything like that you want to share where people can reach out to you and talk some ball?
Oh, yeah, you can find me. I'm on Facebook, Griff Redmill, easy to find. Instagram at PaperMill75. You can hit me on Twitter. I may or may not see it within, the next 6 months, but Instagram I'm pretty active on, so look me up.
All right. Make sure you're still part of the Red Elephant Club up there. We need people to come join. Or
oh yeah, we're going strong. We had a great year this year. Still got a couple meetings left. We had probably more new members this year than we've had in a long time. So if you're interested in being a member of the Huntsville Red Elephant Club, look me up on Facebook, and I'll get you headed in the right direction. But it's an important organization that supports specifically Alabama football, and all our money raised goes towards that. And we have some great meetings, great speakers. George has been here a couple of times, and it's always fantastic when he can make the trip over. But we, like I said, record number of new members this year, and had a great year so far, and more to come. So we'd love to have you if you're interested and you're an Alabama fan.
All right. Well, there he is. Thank you very much. Round of applause for Griff Redmill and all that he brought to the show today. Make sure you continue to hit that subscribe button and likes if you enjoyed our show tonight. We'll be back next Monday. We can get a little bit of a rest now that our football season is over. At JP2, we finished 5-5 this year. It was a tremendous year for us, and we're all looking for better things. So support us there. Support us here with Teague's Take, and we're going to be looking forward to doing this every single week right here with you. Thank you, guys. Griff, we appreciate you one more time.
Roll Tide, guys.
Yeah, roll Tide, man. We'll see y'all later. Hey.